calling my Indian roots to share with you how to make a Gulab Jamun inspired cake. Let's get baking. So to start with, we're going to make our cake. I'm going to use a stand mixer to help me today, just for ease. So we're going to make a very basic cake today into the bowl of my stand mixer. To start with, I'm going to pop in some unsalted butter. This is 175 grams of unsalted butter. Get that last bit out. And we're going to beat this for a couple of minutes just to soften it so that all the other ingredients mix really easily. So all that was just to soften my butter so that it wasn't in blocks anymore. As you can see, it's not fluffed up or anything. That is all I want. So into this bowl, I'm going to measure my sugar out. Now, today I'm going to use Tate and Lyle's golden caster sugar. Caster sugar dissolves better in cakes rather than granulated sugar because the granules are bigger, so you want something a bit smaller, and caster sugar is perfect for that. And I really like the golden flavour in this cake because it just gives a very, very subtle caramelly flavour, which I just absolutely adore. I can't get enough of. So I'm measuring this straight into my bowl. That's 175 grams of this as well. There we go, that's our sugar measured out, and we're going to mix this together again. So once your butter and sugar are completely combined, like this, that is exactly what we want, we're going to start adding our eggs in. So the eggs go in here one at a time, and we're going to mix them as we add them in. So once you've added your eggs in and mixed everything through, we're going to add in the dry ingredients. Now at this stage, if your mixture looks a bit lumpy, like a bit like scrambled eggs, don't worry, it's all going to come together when we add in the dry ingredients. But the important thing now with the dry ingredients is you don't want to over mix it because it's just going to put too much air in and it'll all collapse in the oven. So we're going to add in all three of the dry ingredients for the cake. We're starting with self-raising flour, so this is going straight in. To that, I'm also adding some baking powder and some ground cardamom. So we're going to mix this all together, and we don't want to mix it for any more than a minute. It's just until it's combined and it's nice and smooth. So that took me about 30, maybe 40 seconds, and my cake mixture is done. It is lovely and smooth, as you can see in there. That is perfect. So while I have been making my cake mix, I have had my oven preheating behind me, and before I started, I prepared a tin. This is an 8-inch circle tin, and I've just put some parchment on the bottom. So my cake mixture is going to go in here, and then we're going to get baking. So while my cake is in the oven, I'm going to make a syrup that we're going to put on the cake as soon as it comes out. So for our sugar syrup, we are obviously going to use sugar. This time I'm using granulated sugar. It's all going to get heated up and dissolved, so it doesn't matter about the larger granules that I was talking about before. So my granulated sugar is going in my pan. So I'm going to measure out 200 grams of this sugar. And the nice thing about Tate & Lyle's sugars that I really like is that it gives you a lovely sweet flavour. You don't get any bitter aftertastes or anything like that because it's made with sugar cane. There we go, that's my sugar done. Now, along with the sugar, we're going to add a few other ingredients. We've got some water, and to that we're going to add our flavours. Now, our flavours in Gulab Jamun are some saffron, so I'm just going to crush it as I sprinkle it into the pan. So that's just a nice generous pinch is all you want. And I've got here some cardamom pods. Now you can put them in like this, but I like to help release the flavour a bit better. So what I'm going to do is just on a board with a knife, I'm just going to crush them with the side of my knife, and that's just going to help it pop open so all the flavour gets released a lot better. Once it's split, you can see that the outside, the shell of it's open, and that just means all the lovely flavour from the pods inside are going to come out. So those are going in there as well. I am also going to add in, you can't really see it in my little container, this is rose water. Now rose water is really potent, so you don't want to use too much of it. This is about 1/4 teaspoon. You can go up to 1/2 teaspoon, but it becomes very floral and very strong, so be careful with how much of this stuff you use. And my final ingredient is a little bit of lemon juice, and what this is going to do is it's going to stop the sugar syrup from crystallizing, so you're not going to get your crystallizations of your granules. It's going to allow it to remain a liquid instead. So that's all my ingredients. This is going to go on the heat. I'm going to heat it gently to dissolve the sugar first, and then I'm going to put it on a gentle simmer for about 8 or 9 minutes until it turns syrupy and beautiful. Right, so my cake has baked and it has cooled 5 minutes in the tin. So I'm going to put it onto a cooling rack and brush it with that sugar syrup that we made earlier. Once I've used up most of the syrup, save a couple of tablespoons. We're going to use that for the icing. Leave the cake to cool completely. So to make your icing, it's super simple. I'm using Tate and Lyle's icing sugar this time, of course. Add those couple of tablespoons of syrup that you reserved earlier and a little pinch of cardamom. Mix it all together until it's lovely and smooth, and then drizzle it over your cake. As a final finishing touch, you can add some pistachios, some chopped pistachios, and some dried rose petals as well for decoration. And that is our Gulab Jamun inspired cake done. Isn't it beautiful? Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for joining us today, friends, and we hope to see you next time. Happy baking!